Well, today's episode, in the business of sales, there is a lot of stress, a lot of intention. You have to focus, you have to regain control of your goals. Well, we're propense to seek for help in many different places. Imagine having to be in absolute silence for 10 days straight, 10 days with no one to talk to. Or imagine losing control from 5 to 6 hours of your body, just losing control and letting your brain, your soul, your emotions combine. In today's episode, we'll talk about our experience.
We did two very different meditations.
Which one was yours?
I've never meditated in my life.
Okay.
Ever. I do extreme sports. Sitting down on the floor for me was never something that I thought I could do. And a friend of mine, maybe over 50, family man, he said, I took a break from life for a little bit. I came across a program called the Vipassana meditation, which is a 10-day silent retreat. And I was like, I remember someone in a hostel in the middle of South Africa told me he just came back from a silent retreat where you don't make eye contact for 10 days. You don't talk for 10 days. You don't have a phone. You don't have TV. You don't have anything. No contact with the outside world. You're stuck in a white wall for 10 days. You don't know what day it is. You don't know anything. And you meditate from 4:30 in the morning until around 9:30 p.m. at night. It's around 16 hours of meditation, not counting the 5-minute breaks you get.
Is it like a white room or like a hospital room or
You-
a jail
you
cell?
have-
'Cause,
everyone
like
has-
I always picture
It's like where I sleep, it's pretty much a jail cell.
like
I'm
stone walls and
yes, just white.
a little
And a bed. No,
window.
nothing. I can't have a book. I can't have a journal. Nothing. And then they wake you up with a gong, the dong, at 4 a.m. So you start waking up. 4:30 a.m. is the first meditation. From 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., you have 100 people around you. At least mine had 50 men on one side and 50 women on the other side. I was the only person in that room that was not Indian. This was in the middle of India. And you can't look at them in the eyes. You're sitting this far from each other.
No eye contact.
No eye contact.
Partition or no?
You feel it's weird.
No eye
What?
contact. What
No,
would?
nothing.
No, what's the setup?
Oh, the
No,
partition. No, there's nothing. Nothing.
No, it's like a
I could-
yoga
I
mat.
could touch them if I want. Yeah. So 16 hours a day of just being in your mind and getting every thought out.
Out.
And they
So,
don't,
so
they-
your goal is to be blank?
be blank. And they don't teach you this on the first 3 days. They say sit down. No one talks to you. There's not really someone. There's one person that's like he's already dead. He's
Yeah.
Boenka. He's the one that started this whole routine. And he gives very little words every day. Just breathe in through your nose, breathe in through one nostril, and out. And he says that for 3 days straight with no explanation. And on the first day at night, you're just like, what am I doing? I'm in the middle of India just breathing for 16 hours a day on the floor, and I don't know why. And then the days go on, and you start realizing how much shit is in your head and how hard it is to focus. And that goes back to your family, to your business, to everything. You're so focused on what's next, what's the past, what's the future, and you're never in the moment. And then
See, but what was the moment?
being in the moment, just you learn to control.
No, you learned, but at that moment you were like, what am I doing here? That was your moment.
Yeah, even on day 9, I was like, why am I still here? What am I
Right.
doing? After day 3, I said, this might be the stupidest thing I've ever done. And then people start going crazy. Like you're
One by one, you see them falling.
You start seeing get like agitated because you can't talk and you can't make eye contact. Every once in a while, you peek to see if you're still human, or you make a word. You know, woo, make a little noise in your room.
That's crazy.
Because you're not talking.
Martin, this is 10 days?
10 days. 10 days, 16 hours per day on the floor with your legs crossed, eyes closed, just breathing. And when you eat against the wall. You're looking at a wall. I had to sign a lot of contracts saying that there's no way out. Like, I can't leave. I'm in the middle of an island also. If I jump the fence and I leave, there's nowhere for me to go.
Oh, wow. It's like that.
You're stuck there. If I go crazy, I start screaming, they're not releasing me. I signed a lot of paperwork to say I'm okay with that.
Was there anyone that had a reaction like that?
Yes, one. Well, on day 7, I thought I was having that reaction. I left the meditation room. There's a little walking area, and I went outside. I was like, and they have a lot of like, they're kind of like prison guards. They follow you around. They'll knock your door. Yeah. So I go outside and I'm walking. I'm like, I need to escape this. I'm gonna die. I don't care about my phone. I just need to leave. And
I'm gonna leave India without my wallet and my phone.
I did not care at that point. Dude, when you're 7 days in there,
yeah, you're desperate there.
You're desperate.
Wow.
And 30 minutes later, they come get me. 2 people, the program manager and someone else. And that was the first communication I had in 7 days.
How was
And my
that
only
encounter?
words, they stopped in front of me. I was walking in circles. And my only words were, get out of my way. I'm not going back in there. And then the manager was like, just let him do. They're used to it, I guess. Just let him breathe it out.
I say, someone like me,
Energy.
how do you contain this animal 7 days caged in? I don't know.
And that's a very different experience than, I guess, what you had. Like, mine was all mental. There's no substance. There's nothing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I stumbled into mine, okay, because I was completely against it, okay? To be honest, I don't even, you brought it up. I'm going to throw it down there. But if you put money on me that I would do something like that, no, you were going to lose your money. That was something that it was just no for me. However, you did that. You came back changed. That was pretty freaky. That you came back
In 10 days.
completely different. I mean, it was so, for all of us here in the office, you were like, well, because we're not going to talk about how your character was before, maybe pre these 10 days. Those 10 days gave you, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't definitely the center human being you are today.
My character before that did make me lose a lot of business and relationships from not being able to control emotions in a way.
Right. No, of course.
And I had come from something very horrible that had happened to me where
True
that I had so much, pretty much anger and resentment
energy in you that it wasn't
and dead
good.
energy in me, that when I came across that, and the crazy thing is, you feel everything. You start like cramping in every part of your body, like in your stomach. You start getting like punched from inside out. Your toes start cramping and like you feel like blood, and what they say that was are like stored energy and stored memories. So I would get like, let's say, a punch in the gut or a little cramp in my thigh, and then I would get a quick memory of something that happened when I was 4 years old, 6 years old. I don't know, someone stole a soccer ball from me, something stupid, and then it vanishes, and you can't remember what it was. And it's like all these things that are stored inside you.
Our memories, our dark memories,
It's
maybe.
oh no, sometimes good things.
Okay.
Sometimes good things. I would randomly start laughing. Or then sometimes I would randomly, like a tear would come out of my eye.
Different emotions.
Every emotion
Uncontrollable.
stored in you with like that memory that had a implant in you. And it's inside me, it's inside you, it's inside everyone.
Of course. Oh, and then I wouldn't want to see mine. Few of them will come up like gremlins. Anyways.
I guess.
So you come back changed. I'm going to turn 50. I'm freaking out a little bit. I don't know why this thing hit me like a brick, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm not happy about that. Even though that I feel like I've lived a long life. I mean, I've been on my own since, I don't know, 17, 18. So that has made me live a long life in my head, right? As in charge of my life, if that's what I mean. But then you came back so changed, and then I just didn't know what to do. Do I throw a party? Do I do this? I had an awakening after something that I stopped drinking for 100 days, and I loved it. I did it for like to lose weight and to do these sports that I do.
And your mentality changed.
And then I was like, and everything changed. And I was like, man, I love to be sober, but I don't really feel like I have a need to be, right? Society, it's not gonna let me. I'm a social individual. But those 100 days changed the way I felt. And then I went back to drinking, more sporadical, and I just didn't like how my body felt, how my mind felt after that, maybe how I behaved when I crossed the lines. So I said, I'm gonna try this again. And so I wasn't drinking, I was turning 50. You went to do that thing of the meditation. I try, and that I put myself in the name, says, I'm crazy, I'm gonna go. And I didn't get chosen. And then I freaked out, go to ChatGPT, and I said, what should men with middle-age crisis do. And one of the things that came out was like, go to a retreat, a spiritual retreat, right? So I put in Google, now that I leave ChatGPT, I put in Google. Back then you couldn't do online searches in ChatGPT, right? It was fresh. I put in Google, spiritual retreat for businessmen. And this trip to Costa Rica for 7 days. And it was glamping. And it was genuinely, you could see in the video and the pictures that this was another level of glamping. I mean, this thing was like another level of glamping. Glamping, but on another level. So I said, I like that. I like that we have our own chef, and I like this. And it's a retreat.
So different than India.
So different than India. And he says, I don't need to go to this offering. And you committed a crime to show me a picture of two. And I said, I can't do that. And then I just went to this place, which I had to do with a lot of businessmen. I met a lot of very smart people, very wealthy people. But it had 3 days of those 7 that they will want you to consume ayahuasca. And, I started digging into it. I said, I don't do none of that nonsense. You're crazy. I'm never going to put that in my system. Then I started looking, and then it talked about that. It's not dangerous, but you have an experience, and so and so. And I kept digging, and my middle-age crisis was getting closer and closer and closer. And I just went for it. Put my credit card and bought it. And you couldn't get your money back once you did it. And I just went there. Never been in Costa Rica. Got on a plane. Boom. And once I started looking at the people that were there, shocked me a little bit. They were very, very successful human beings. And we were all searching. What the hell were we searching for?
Yeah, that just shows you that no matter how much money you have, there's something there.
We
that it
all
won't
searching
fill.
something. The part is, I wasn't searching God because my relationship with God has been always there. So I wasn't that. I wasn't empty. I know I wasn't. It was more like, can I still do more? Do I still have fights left in me? Have you done enough? More of those crises, right? And I'm in business. I'm always a fight. I'm always at war in a good way. So, yeah, the moment of truth came in. Yeah, shaft and yoga and cold plunges and the views. All that was, wow, so good. The conversations, the how you will let go of things, the dynamic of it was amazing. What a great job. One Heart is the organization. I shout out to them. Amazing work they do. Very clean, very organized. And you felt safe when it came down to doing this medicine, which at the end, you don't know if it's a medicine, you don't know if you feel like it's a witchcraft, or you feel like you're crossing the line, you're being disobedient, you're being too immature, you're trying to get high. There's so many opinions out there. But the truth is, when it gets into your system, that substance that comes from earth, okay? It wasn't made in some lab in China. We're messing up with the Chinese too much. So I'm sorry about that. But it was made in China, or somebody did it in a lab, in a garage, some guy from college that went to chemistry class and thinks he's the Breaking Bad. No, this is from a root of a plant. Since my relationship with God is good, I think he allowed that to exist. Now, you put it in your system, and there's a layer that immediately you start peeling your onion, which I think, and you see it all, and it's magical. It's magical. Unfortunately, it's intense. It's intense. You go through a process there, man. That is no happen.
And everyone, no matter what drugs or without.
No, I don't care if you're wealthy, if your sexual preferences, your height, you're gonna go through that onion peeling process, and it's tough. But what happens is at the end of the tunnel, you peel the damn onion. And that's amazing. And it changes your mindset. It doesn't change your life, because you can have an encounter with God and you said you changed your life. You had an encounter because you almost die and you'll never drink again and drive and never. You can do all the nonsense you want. You go back to be your same self. And then it goes back to, you got to continue to push yourself. But I genuinely think that what I saw, what I confronted about myself, at least the way I finished this whole course or retrieve is, you cannot unseen what you saw. And when you find faults, now you know that's your fault, And then you can either ignore it, go back to your same habits, or go back and do something about it. Because you now know. And it's great to have that vision. Now, unfortunately, and I say that also with all due respect, because I have really good friends already that I made, like you, 7 days in a tight relationship. But some people really go to the extreme, like to the extreme left or to the extreme right. Also, now everything about it is about it. And I think there's more to it in life than just focusing of a plant or the sky or how beautiful energy is, right? So I think too much to the left or too much to the right is always
That's
bad.
with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen some of your reactions months after your retreat. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, actually. You've been pretty freaking good. But that's what happens now that you brought it up. There's some two things that you're always seeking. You're always seeking for the best, what's best for everyone, you know?
So the question now is, which retreat are you doing?
Camilo is dancing. Camilo did a lot of retreats before.
I think
But he's
I see him more in the indie one.
I think I can do both. I mean, I've probably come close to both of them without even knowing it. Like, for example, in real life, I'm super quiet, right? And so sometimes just
He's a silent killer.
for fun, it's like silence. I like silence, right? So I can imagine being silent for 10 days would go a long way, and I think I can handle it. I just don't know, like you said, there's unexpected emotions and control that you have no control over. So that's super exciting. So maybe one day I'll sign up for that one. And then yours in Costa Rica in the jungle, I mean, that's like a creative sensation, at least.
No.
Because it's very visual.
come back
right?
artistic? No, I don't know.
No. Like, it's more of a visual thing. But
Okay.
like, part of it is visual.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what you feel.
But in my case, I tell you right now, it wasn't nothing like all about, oh my God, I saw. No.
But some
Everybody
people in
go.
your group-
Some people did because that's where they are. So that probably you might encounter.
It's
if your
scary.
if your soul is clean like that all you're going to see is trees green and growing
Well,
and
not
beautiful.
necessarily like that, but it's more of a visual movie thing. Like, this one is more meditative. I just
Yeah.
picture it more
No, you're
like,
fighting against yourself right there.
Yeah, this one is more like a roller coaster, like a ride.
Yeah.
So they're different, but I think yeah.
Mine is shorter. Mine was shorter. Man, you go on that trip for 5 hours, 4 hours. I hate to call it a trip because I don't want to disrespect what I went through because it isn't a trip. It isn't something for fun. What do you call that? Recreational at all. Guys, you don't want to do this again. Like, if you get a choice to do it, you don't want to do it. Like, it's not fun. But you get out on the other side with value.
You don't regret it.
No.
With intention.
Yeah, you would do it. No, I learned so much that we can go on and on in what I learned. But, for example, for you, I'm going to tell you about silence. The smartest man in the world, the wisest man in the world, King Solomon, said that even the fools, when they're quiet, when they're silent, they're counted as wise. When somebody can be as foolish but is quiet, you can't figure the person out. And it's like, okay. But when somebody just talking out of his ass, that's when, even though it's smart. So that's good. No, never be ashamed of being quiet and silent. Now, I just don't know how is that going to improve your life. That now you learn how to be more quiet. Wow. Who's going to talk to you? Who's going to talk to this guy? He's not going to add any value.
But there's a lot of people that are making big decisions that have a big platform, like Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Jets right now. He was playing for Green Bay last year, and he was coming to the end of his contract. And he's like, I'm going to go in a darkness retreat.
That's like the
everybody
5-day
was like,
darkness retreat, right?
What is this guy doing? He's crazy, this and that. He's like, I'm going on a darkness retreat. Like, leave me alone. He did it, and he came out with his answer, and, probably encouraged a lot of people to do something like that. So, I think it's a big movement.
That's another retreat that I'm intrigued too. And they usually show it in these beautiful places that when you open your eyes, you're not in your backyard. You are in like in a mountain.
Yeah, you walk
I
out
think
to the
I
next
think
scenery.
I think I'm out for that, but I don't think we can go together because Martin will be like,
Hector, you okay?
"Don't talk to me."
There is one retreat that I've been wanting to do, which you've been inviting, but we haven't been able to coordinate.
The breathing one.
The breathing technique.
Oh my God, that's great. Well, he's been bringing me down. He's done what he did.
I told you we'll do it.
To explain again, because I couldn't believe it. You start breathing, and I guess you put so much oxygen in your system, your brain, your everything gets, what is it that the brain and your bloodstream and your organs need oxygen. So we start as we grow, and we lose sight of how powerful it is. It will bring calmness. It will bring the timing, your biological clock back to reset. You name it, so good. But when you start doing it over, all that oxygen is like, how do you say, overdoses your system. And what you feel is insane. You feel like you elevated from the ground.
Why I've been hesitant about doing that is because when I was doing the 10-day retreat in India, they say so many times, once you find something that works for you, don't test waters with another retreat or another breathing meditation,
Right.
because then it's just.
But this one is easier, it's faster, and in my opinion, like you see those guys in jail, they get out all big. All they do is push-ups and pull-ups. They don't have the weights we have in our badass gyms. But we're both exercising our muscles. So there's many ways to skin a cat. I just think they want you to like focus in their culture, and that's okay. It's respectful. I mean, you got to understand that. But what I experience in an hour and a half, everybody should, which is how you feel, how the sounds, how the electricity, how everything, how you get to not breathe for 3 to 4 minutes. Like you're like, I can't believe it. I'm not breathing. Why I'm not breathing? The person tells you, hold, and you hold in the air, and minutes go by, and you can't understand how long you never done it before. It's taking that long. Your OD of oxygen, and then you realize, wow, I'm always fighting for breath. There's no need. If I breathe calmer and deeper, I don't need to fight for breath that much. But anyways,
Let's do it.
we should do that.
All right.
And record it, video it. And everybody with an HD camera in your
GoPro
forehead
in the
to
head.
see what you see.
We can do a follow-up to this.
Follow up to the breathing class. Let's do that. Let's set this up next year. And we talk about after.
Let's do it before. What you think?
No, we
you
just
do?
did.
Okay, so we're doing that.
We do it after. We just did. You haven't experienced it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hector.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. I always end up with a handshake. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.